You know it's bad if this is like your 10th attempt trying to make a video over the span of like 30 minutes. Hi, I'm back. I'm not dead. Uh, Welcome back to Igneo Studios. I might have to rename this to Igneo Hiatus at this point. But all jokes aside, I'm back, and to kick things back off, I'd like to go over Mortal Hunters Episode 1, The Starting Line. If y'all don't remember, about a year prior, I made a video talking about the pilot of the web series Mortal Hunters, directed by Andrew Taylor and created and written by Matt Lamar. I'm pretty sure that there are other writers with it. I'll have to check the credits. So if I'm wrong, and Matt, you are writing all these episodes, don't burn yourself out. Please take care of yourself, because I know creativity burns the brain. Um, and I remember talking about this series, saying that it reminded me a lot of, like, it was like a treasure hunting, like Indiana Jones with supernatural and mafia spins. But the supernatural thing I'm talking about, like character dynamics. Feels like there was a lot of influence from Supernatural with Matt Lamar's character and Kelton Vermin or Werman. I think it's Vermin. I think it's kind of like a German. I keep forgetting. Kelton, if you watch this, please correct me. I don't want to mess it up. And we actually get actual names in this one. I remember talking about in the pilot that we don't get any names, so I just referred to them by their actors, by their performers. We got names now. Matt Lamar's character is named Prairie Dog, and Kelton is Canine. We get introduced to a few new characters in the first episode, which is to be expected. This is going to be a 10 episode season for the first season. And if I remember correctly, I think it is a 2-season series. I could be completely wrong. But I remember talking about I was very excited to cover it whenever it was I was going to get the chance to. And now I can. At least with this first episode, because I got done watching it about holy crap, an hour. And I wanted to at least talk about it. This isn't going to be like a traditional review like I would usually do. I'll still probably talk about my opinions on the episode as how made it was, the performances, writing, stuff like that, like I usually do. But it's not going to be an over traditional review of, like, say, a normal movie. This is a series, and it is. I'm gonna very amateur. It is an indie film studio doing it. So I'm not going to hold it to the same standard as a Hollywood movie. Though, to be fair, a lot of indie stuff is better than Hollywood nowadays, but that's nowadays. So I'm going to just briefly summarize the episode and talk about what I liked and didn't like, or just what I would like to see from now on. And we start off the episode pretty strongly, actually. We have 4 entrepreneurs, rich elites. I'll say we'll call them the elites, and they don't really have names other than one legitimate name. Well, 3 characters, but in this scene, we have a legitimate character named Miss Robney. That's like the only like normal name. Everyone else has like nicknames or aliases. Like one of them is called Cowboy, and that's credited in the credits. They're playing community poker. You hold 2 cards, and the dealer puts out the rest, and you have to get the best hand. And they, instead of bidding normal money, they bid artifacts. One of which was, it started off small, a gladius sword, and the I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. One was King Tut's mask, the mask of King Tut, and then JFK's coconut, or whatever that is. They bring up a lot of artifacts. Because if y'all remember that the premise is that this is like I said in the previous video talking about it, it's like a treasure hunter race to the finish or whatever, with like a mafia spin to it, where artifacts are being used as trade and currency in this little in the underworld, or however, or if it is like normalized in society. I remember talking about, I compared it to the coins in John Wick that the Continental hotels use for whatever. And because they name dropped so many artifacts, I feel like I don't want to pat myself on the back for it, but it feels like they took what I said, because I remember talking about that I would like to see these artifacts give more importance. In the sense of like lore and like what makes these so unique, or are they just going to be throwaway MacGuffins or items just for the sake of currency? And I expressed concern that they weren't going to just be throwaway currency. I would like to know lore about this, and it seems like they took a note from either my feedback or they came up with that themselves, and they're betting the pot on like JFK's coconut, Mask of King Tut, Gladius, whatever, until the main host guy shows up and shows off a piece of a tablet. Oh, one more artifact was like a lost play by William Shakespeare. I thought that was a nice touch. But a piece of a tablet. I wonder if I'm thinking what I got from this. I wanted to watch the episode first before I made a point. Was it? I should probably just keep my body still to see the mic. I talked about. What did I talk about? It reminded me of a lot of National Treasure in a way, with Nick Cage, if y'all remember that movie. Stone tablet, and it seems, and the guy says like, "Oh, is this the starting pot?" And then the starting line. I'm imagining this this is how I took it. The tablet is in multiple pieces, and they're gonna have their associates, their grunts, find all these tablets to put them together as part of a big race. That's what I'm getting from that. It reminds me a lot of like Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, where they have the tablet of order and chaos. They have to reassemble it to fix the universe. I doubt they're gonna go that far with that, but it's funny that I remember that. Then we transition to another scene, to a scene with Matt Lamar's character Prairie Dog, held captive by two more characters, Dennis and Mooney. I forgot their actors' names. I'll have to look up the credits here in a second. But they're holding him captive and interrogating him on information they want to know. Matt feigns ignorance or clearly doesn't know anything. This is where the dialogue started firing off all cylinders on me. First of all, I will talk about this. The performances are pretty good. It is very amateur, very indie. So the performances aren't like, the highest S tiers or Oscar worthy. It's not that. But there's a lot of fun with it. And I think that's the important thing. While they're interrogating Prairie Dog, Dennis and Mooney are just, they give off the impression, and what I took from it is that these guys are so inexperienced, they have never done this before, and it's hilarious. We get a great back and forth with Prairie Dog and Mooney over a one-liner that Dennis says, "We'll take this horse to the stables," as to put him down. And they get into a whole weird back and forth that's pretty funny about, like, we're in the middle of a desert. You could have said anything else. Like, I'll feed you the vultures, or I like it. It was funny. It's a little weird, but it was pretty funny for me. and they get into like, and then Mooney and Dennis go to the back and they talk about like doing a good cop bad cop thing. It's it's a pretty fun scene. And then the dialogue kind of gets a, I don't want to say cringe because it's very amateur, but I think it's like there's no better way to say it than cringe. Uh, Dennis talks about how he's excited that they get to do more stuff, and I'd like to go on more adventures with you. I'm like, wholesome line, delivered and in the situation doesn't really match. Still a nice line, but context kind of makes it sound a little goofy. Other than that, though, we moving on. Matt Lamar's character, Prairie Dog. God, I don't know why I forgot that. Prairie Dog breaks out, fights, hits Dennis to escape, and gets chased out, despite Dennis having a gun. Why not shoot it? I made a joke earlier about whenever my brother and I were watching it, because Prairie Dog mentions that, oh, you don't seem like the guy to shoot somebody, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing, and he's like, yeah, and then he hits him like in the forehead. My brother and I made a joke about this, like, oh, you're not the kind of guy to shoot somebody. Bam. Ah, you did. Not so funny now, is it? I thought that was a pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny. All right, I'll stop. Okay, back to it. It's revealed that K9, Kelton's character, is stealing a crate that is previously mentioned that Dennis and Mooney have in their possession. Mooney, I'm gonna be honest, Mize probably was stoned because he said to be smoking weed in the context of the character. And he helps him pick up the crate of their rival to their truck. What? This makes no sense. In the fun way. And they escape. It turns out that Prairie Dog made a mistake. He went off the plan, or went against the plan. He changed it mid-plan to pull this little stunt. I'll talk about like characters and stuff in a minute. They get to their stopping place. They get their cut from whatever the crate had, and they find a note saying, "Roll into the spotlight." And whatever that means, they'll figure it out. And that's the episode. The episode is, about, I want to say maybe 8 minutes or so is the poker game with the heads. And I like the scene. It's shot all right. The lighting is beautiful. I think the lighting is very well done with its use of like central lighting and sharp shadows. But I found the camera was a little high. Like a lot of the shots was like kind of like how like there's like a bit of dead air here compared to like if you have compared to like now. There was a lot of dead air here. And I just found that kind of odd. I don't know if that was intentional or not. But the lighting was great. Some other shots were a little off. They kind of kept cutting to like over the shoulder to someone talking, and then like through an opening like armpit kind of shot where you see the gap between. Clever shots, one of the better ones, but I found it a little odd. And the scene with Prairie Dog, K9, Dennis, and Mooney is shot pretty well. I liked it a lot. The dynamics here is what I want to talk about. Prairie Dog and K9, I mentioned about that. Prairie Dog does most of the grunt work, and K9 kind of sits around. I was kind of wrong to assume that he did nothing. K9 is the brains of the two. He mentions that it takes weeks for him to come up with a plan and to do it right. And Prairie Dog went off script, essentially. You don't berates him. You don't do that. So we get the kind of dynamic that Prairie Dog is enthusiastic but reckless. If he sees an opportunity to do something else, he'll do it. And K9, I don't know if it's like by the books or how that is, but he's one that thinks more than does. And it works out, sure, but I wonder if that's going to be a thing with these two characters. Will Prairie Dog's recklessness and willingness to do just whatever screw him? And will K9 have to learn to adapt with this? Because clearly they don't get along that well. Before the episode came out, there was like some promo clips introducing the characters, how they meet, and other of the hunters that's going to be part of this season. I saw all of them. They're all pretty all right. They're all pretty good. They don't give you a whole lot of information, which I think is good. You don't need a whole lot of information. But it'd be neat to see a mention of these characters. But I think that's for another for the next episode that they're gonna do, which I can't wait until they release, or if they have released it. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'll have to check, because I think I saw episode 2 out, but I don't know if it's actually real. So I'm going to wait until the studio announce that episode 2 is about to come out. I'm excited. I am excited about this little web series, and I am glad that the artifacts aren't. They actually have name and some lore to them. I don't even know if it's lore. It's just more like, a lost scroll, a lost script by William Shakespeare, JFK's coconut. If that's supposed to emphasize his head, or a coconut that he had at Hawaii or something. I don't know. You're getting there with the names at least, but I kind of want to know what these all mean, or is it just currency? Like how in Supernatural, for example, there was a scene where Crowley was at a demon auction, and he bids the moon, and he says the line, "Well, you really think a man named Neil gets to the moon without making a deal?" It's like a little throwaway line to say "Oh yeah, no, I got the moon." If that's what they're going with, I don't know how I feel about that. The tablet is clearly going to be the main artifact focus that we're going to see in this little series. That's going to be the main thing that's mysterious. It's going to have a lot of lore. But I'd like to see a little bit more for these other things. I know that's probably asking for too much, and that the tablet's going to be the main focus. So I won't get too lore crazed for it, for all this other stuff, if you're going to put a lot of effort into the actual mysterious thing. But you're getting there. I like it. I like what you're doing. All in all, it's a good episode. Performances are pretty good. Some line deliveries I felt were a little not robotic, but very I don't know, flat and surface level. But clearly, it's going to be more, so we'll probably see more of that. Getting shot pretty well. It's not too crazy. Again, I'm not going to hold it to the same standard as, like, Lord of the Rings or something like that. This clearly, whenever I say professional, I mean professional. This is an amateur independent film series. That does not mean it's bad. Just clearly don't have this, budget and experience. But there is talent there that I really want to emphasize. This is filled with a lot of talented people. It may not be professional. It may not be the, most well budgeted, but there's a lot of talent and passion behind this, and I cannot wait to see what else is here. What else was I gonna say? I think I covered everything. But yeah, I can't wait to see what more of this is, and who knows what the next one is. Again, this is a 10-episode series, so whenever the next episode comes out, it might be next month or another year. Who knows? But I can't wait. I'm excited and I can't wait to see what this world is. And I hope we get more world building to it. But yeah, I got kind of nothing else. Think the next project, the next video I'll probably have up is probably either one of the two between a Rings of Power retrospective, where I go over both seasons of the series, and possibly the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie review, or Demon Slayer retrospective of the anime to the movie. I'll let me know in the comments down below what you'd like to see, and if anything, I'll probably create a poll or something. I'm going to try and get back into this better. And if you like the ramblings of a random guy just appreciating this stuff and making a fool out of himself, then thanks. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your days, nights, mornings, or afternoons, or wherever you watch this. I'll try to get this up by like maybe midnight or something like that. So, can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.